how risky the fight is to his
High risk,
legacy
low
and his
reward.
career. Yeah, so Francis Ngannou does not have to fight an MMA fight. I think Toby Demola, you've mentioned this already. I think
Exactly.
Francis Ngannou is going to honor his PFL deal. I think he's going to fight a PFL fight, but they are going to go and look for a scrub for him to fight so he looks good. I don't think they're going to put him with a youngin because these young boys are hungry. They can spoil a show. So I think Francis Ngannou goes fights in MMA, but they are going to like do boxing style with that fight in the matchmaking and put somebody that is probably very old.
Okay, so quick
Uh,
one, quick one. What's the possibility of him fighting this guy that called him out, Impa Kasankanai?
Nah, he wouldn't want to fight. If he wants to fight an African, he will fight Rogrog now. Rogrog was calling for him. So I don't think it's realistic for Impact to actually fight in heavyweight. He feels he's good, he's big enough to fight in heavyweight, but this is somebody that was fighting in welterweight, bro. But you know something about weight cut in MMA? I think Impa is an example of what weight cut does to fighters. Like, what advantage do you really have when you cut weight?
Exactly. Like he trains you,
Yeah.
trains you. We've seen people move up in weight
Um.
and do better.
Uh. Oh, we've got Green Tea with us today. Shout out Green Tea. Tumbosun says, "Oh, that's a 50-50." Courageous Empire says John will never fight Tom, and Courageous Empire says, "I don't think John's scared, but the fight does nothing for him." All right.
Exactly. High risk, low reward.
Bold prediction. This one is very funny. Francis Ngannou defeats Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, or Tyson Fury in a combat sports contest. Combat sports contest. So this bold prediction does not say boxing. It says combat sports contest. If they fight in anything that is not boxing, the top three heavyweights in boxing would lose to Francis Ngannou. The only way they beat Ngannou is they fight strictly boxing. And even that now Ngannou has proved to us that he's not a
He's no
walkover.
pushover. Mhm.
Yes. So I think the names are too much. Yeah. I think here's the thing. I think Ngannou loses his next boxing fight. Because
Do not
next
be
the next
pessimistic.
the next person that he's going to fight is going to take him very serious.
Very extremely seriously.
Yeah. All right. The Francis beats all in one night. Hey, courageous. Courageous, courageous.
It's
Um
courageous. It's truly courageous.
uh yeah, so next one, UFC Africa does not happen in 2024. I wouldn't be surprised. At this point, 2024 has already been booked up to March. It's even starting to enter April. So pretty much first quarter of 2024 is gone. Obviously, they do in the summer they do that their international fight week. Around that time, they don't really travel too much. So if they are going to if they're going to leave the US, it's probably this the third quarter and the fourth quarter of the year. Um, I'm not sure. uh we got knockout skill kings here. You mean the ref is going to mess him up again? Yeah, exactly. They're not gonna let him win. They're never gonna let an MMA guy win. So yeah. So which one is it? UFC Africa would not happen in 2024. I'm not really optimistic this would happen.
Not
Although
surprising.
I've been predicting it's going to happen in Morocco or Egypt in UFC 300, but I'm not very optimistic. So this is not a surprise. The
So,
next
so the
one,
thing is, it will happen. It will happen on African soil, Morocco or Egypt, right? But then it's not going to be branded UFC Africa, mind you. It's UFC Arabia, Arab UFC.
mm, fair, fair. We've discussed about that. The next one is a new African nation has a fighter debut in the UFC. Now, to think about the African nations that have not debuted in the UFC, I think you can count more of the African fighters that have actually fought in the UFC. Have we seen a DRC fighter? Oh yes, Empower is DRC. Uh,
How about
hmm,
someone from
African
Senegal?
nation. Yeah, we
Senegal.
haven't seen anyone from Senegal, right? Yeah, so Senegal, yeah. Yeah, Senegal will
They're big
likely
on
be the
youth.
next because
They're big on
they've got
youth
some killers
wrestling.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe Senegal or I'm still thinking. My head is going to the huge nations with big populations, but the issue is
And
this:
combat sports culture.
after Nigeria, the biggest population is Ethiopia, and those people don't fight. Um, if it was running, then they will be in the front. But I think maybe Senegal is a good shout. We might likely see Senegal next. I'm not. And another thing you think about is like boxing. Which African country is high on boxing? I can't think of anything, bro. I can't think except Senegal. That's a good one. Senegal. Maybe Mali. Um,
Maybe Cape
next
Verde.
Cape Verde. Yeah,
Yeah. They
I
have
don't know.
really strong
They
guys
have a
from there.
very they have a very small population, but they have a few Cape Verdeans in UAE Warrior Africa.
Yeah.
So
Very strong
so
guys.
maybe someone is gonna slip through again. Next, at least half of the UFC's 2024 pay-per-views takes place outside of the USA. All right, so there's this company called TKO. TKO is the brand, is the umbrella company between WWE and UFC. And there's this brand of business that they do now, a new strategy that they do now in the WWE, where they make cities and countries bid to host in WWE pay-per-views. I think it's a model that the UFC can steal from them and make sure that any country that they are going to put an event, that country has to bid to host that pay-per-view per se. So I think it's something that they'll probably look at and will tend to see more UFC cards in other international countries. Uh, the reason why I said this is like we saw the UFC when they came to UK, they went to Wales, they went to Cardiff to do an event in a stadium. The WWE, sorry, and they paid the UFC, the WWE to do that. They went to what's the name of this country where Bad Bunny is from? Philippine? Is that Philippine? No, no. Puerto Rico. Aha. They went to Puerto Rico, WWE, and they got paid by the Puerto Rico tourism. They are going to Abu Dhabi, and the Abu Dhabi they are going to, they are getting paid. They are going to Saudi next year. They are going to get paid. So I think slowly, slowly, they are going to start doing this business model of getting countries and cities to bid
To
to
beat
host
to host.
the UFC pay per view, but that is going to be in the detriment for UFC Africa because no country in Africa is going to pay you to come. So,
Maybe,
well,
maybe, just maybe South Africa can do that.
nah, they've got more plates, more things to fry, more things that concern them than to pay UFC to come. If UFC want to go, they will go. At some point, hey, this is a bold prediction. At some point in 2024, there will there will be zero American UFC champions. Wow. Okay,
Oh,
so
male
now
or
let's look at
female?
the let's say male, but this person says all of the UFC champions will be there will be no American. But let's look at the men first. Okay, I can only think of two American champions right now: Sean O'Malley and John Jones. Even John Jones, the interim champion, is from England. Sean O'Malley is under the risk of losing to Chito Vera, so that one the America will go. Then it will be left with the heavyweights, where we've got John Jones and Miocic that will still stay in America, even though Miocic is Croatian. But
Croatian
then Tom
American.
Aspinall, when Tom Aspinall unifies the title, then there will be no USA flag next to any champion. Damn.
Yeah. Well, how about Kobe? Kobe Covington.
Well, if he beats Leon, I think
Yeah.
Leon is going to beat Kobe. I've stopped convincing myself that Kobe will win. I think Leon beats him. And,
Let's wait and see. I'm on the
yeah,
Kobe side of
I
things.
want Kobe. I want Kobe to win, to be honest, but I think Leon is gonna win. All right, next one. I think we already did this one. Rogue is going to be Erin Blanchfield. Do you know what that is?
Yeah,
Is that a
that's a
name?
female fighter.
That's a what?
That's a female fighter.
Oh, oh gosh. Hey, the casual in me just exposed here right now. I actually thought because I saw the cheers emoji in front of there. I thought it was maybe a Dutch language of saying cheers.
No, no, she's a flyweight, female flyweight, and she's currently number
Oh,
2 on the flyweight rankings. Yeah.
Okay. I think Green Tea is on about the non American champions for from the female point of view, from the women fighters.
Oh,
So
okay.
if Blanchfield wins, they'll probably. So Blanchfield and Tatiana Suarez are both are both Americans, and they are likely gonna win the title. To be honest, I'm not very knowledgeable with the women. I swear, I sometimes use it as my pee break. I'm so sorry.
No, no, you shouldn't do that. Gender equality is a thing. I follow
No, bro,
everything,
it's
and the women's fight can be really exciting if you sit down to it.
yeah. I watch the Whaley Jangs. I watch the
Right?
Shevchenkos.
Those
I
are top
watched
of those are top
Amanda
of the.
Nunez.
But the interesting thing, I'm a king of watching the prelims, and I can tell you for free that a lot of the fighters on the prelims are really hungry and tend to put up better shows than the more established fighters on the main card.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So it's
mm-hmm.
something to watch out for.
Sean will get leg kicked by big Ecuadorian shin.
I think Sean
That's
wins that fight. I think Sean wins that fight. He does win that fight. Chito doesn't get a better shot this time around. The last time it was a freak injury, and it will not repeat itself this time around.
Yeah, 2023, bro. Yes, I know it's 2023, but guys, even pro wrestling, bro, I watch pro wrestling, they bore me, man. But I am trying to be I'm very political correct, politically correct. I like to see everybody here knows that I'm a big fan of the heavyweights. I like to see big power. I'm an African man. I'm not a big fan of the flyweights, not just the women, the flyweights too, because they don't knock each other out. Well, yeah. Uh, oh yeah, Manon Fiorot is a bad girl. I saw her in EFC, so yeah. When she was in the EFC, she won a title. Next one. Oh, Nate Diaz returns to the UFC against Conor McGregor.
That's a possibility.
So
Very
Dana White
UFC
was talking
300.
in a press. Yo, that could happen.
Yeah,
In
UFC 300.
Dana White was talking in a press conference that they've got a big fight coming next year, a marquee fight, but he's not going to say who. And to be honest, that's the first fight that came to my head. I thought Conor McGregor and Diaz 3 is probably gonna happen, and probably they'll fight in welterweight. Uh,
Yeah, most likely. Yeah.
because here's something I guarantee you that will happen with UFC 300. There will be zero title fights on UFC 300. No champion is going to fight. It's just going to be like